Welcome to my very first installment of This Is What I Did in Art This Week. This was definitely a roller coaster ride. At first, I had some issues with these pencils that I got that I now love, but it took me a while to get there. I also got set up on my balcony because it's getting super hot in Vegas and I commute on a bike, so I wanted to save myself some time and sweat. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. I'm actually gonna start with the worst of the week and then I'm gonna move to the best of the week. So you just saw me wipe off a tile, and the worst of the week is not even on camera because I got so frustrated and I didn't film it. But these pencils, these underglaze pencils, I've been using the black and the brown for a really long time, and then I got gifted this amazing full color set and I was so excited to use it. However, the tiles that I draw on are a different clay body and the pencils did just not wanna sort of integrate with the tile. It was just lying on top of the illustrations and it was looking like a muddy mess. So I had to start over 3 times. Usually there is a way to get all materials to work for you. With these pencils specifically, it took me such a long time before I figured them out, but I did have this method. I just wasn't prepared for the fact that they were not going to work on these tiles. Anyway, after my 3 tries, I actually gave up. The only thing I drew on these tiles are the sort of outlines, and I could have done that with a graphite pen. A regular graphite pen will just burn off, but I kind of like having the lines being under the painting because it does add just a little bit of shade. But if you do look at these lines, you can probably see how muddy they are, how breaky and grainy they look on top of the clay, and I know from experience when it looks like this, it's just not going to fire well. That said, this was super intimidating for me because I rely so much on the pencils. I don't consider myself a painter at all, and I literally have an order of 10 custom tiles, and I can't use my tried and true method. So anyway, I pivoted to painting. I do think that I ended up sort of somewhat figuring it out. Here are the results pre-fire. I am gonna have to test fire a couple of these, but I do think I got on track. Anyway, the next thing I did was to finally glaze these pieces that I've been working on. Like, these are like really quick sketchy pieces that I wanted to make specifically to make something that's more accessible because I do want these to sell. I am making these particular cat mugs right here to raise money for a shelter or cat shelter here in Vegas, and they're based off one of their resident cats. Making these things and knowing they're gonna go towards a good cause has helped me a lot when it comes to dealing with my grief, and it feels really meaningful. I am still like swamped with orders, but this is something that I want to continue to do. So, and by the way, if you like these pieces, how they look right now, like put a pin in it. Hopefully they'll be out of the killer next week, and they're gonna be a little drop, and they're gonna also be priced really accessibly because, like I said, I want them all to move out and get homes, and hopefully it will be like a good thing all the way around. I was also able to finish this custom mug. As you can see here, I'm using, or on this piece, I used the pencils together with the underglaze because I'm back to my usual B-mix clay body that is just so nice, and it takes really nicely. This customer, the 2 dogs that you just saw, this is me painting the underside of that mug. This customer specifically said that her dogs love the beach, and a lot of the reference photos that she sent me included a beach. So I knew I wanted to integrate that as a theme into this piece. I just wasn't sure quite how to do it. I thought about putting the beach in the background of the dogs, but I just felt like it was gonna be really busy. And lately, I have been pivoting towards making more like simple designs with only the animals on the mugs and the tiles and all that stuff. I am a person who really love a busy composition, but when you work on a really small surface, and especially with materials that tend to bleed, it's just too easy to make it muddy. So I wanted to make sure that the dogs were really shining, but I still wanted to pick up the beach theme, and that's when I made this little landscape on the underside of the mug. And I don't think I've ever made like a landscape drawing, but oh my God, it's so relaxing. There is something about just like dotting little pieces of color and then seeing this landscape emerge is so satisfying. Lastly, this double-sided kitty mug was the last thing I made this week and also the one that excited me the most, I think. I was finally able to incorporate all the colors and layer them and go ham with them. I was able to take a little bit more of a risk when it came to the colors just because I do know the customer really well and I know that they trust me. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go ham here, finally get to really try these pencils. How I approach a piece will be a little bit different depending on what I'm doing. This time I decided to make a pretty sharp outline with the underglaze pencils, which is going to stay. However, as you can see, I used a fan brush here to almost like pull out those lines a little bit and like almost like bake them into the color. Not only will they like be better that way and stay better on in the fire, they also sort of lay the foundation for this fluffy look that I'm going for. After laying like sort of a bluish gray brownish foundation, I started hitting the pens, and I like I said, I went ham here. I did the yellows and the oranges, and oh my God, it was so fun. I think I mean, I hope you love it. I think this particular illustration out of the two, I really like the orange kitty too, but this one was this other cat was a really fluffy cat, and I love the fluff. I think the fluff is so fun, and I think when things are fluffy is really when the pencils do their best work, because it's when they're layered and sort of blendy and just gives that sort of cloudy fluff feeling. That's when they come out the best. Of course, you never know until it's over. There's always a risk when glazing that something will be grabbed or go wrong. So I am glazing these this week. I will probably show you how I apply the glaze when I work with pencils, but just if somebody is like, I want to do this right now, I will say just airbrush it on or go for a really quick dip, never brush. Those are like my two key components. And here is the one that I was just working on. I really love it. I think it just looks like a little fluffy cow. I will probably add whiskers to this one, but other than that, it's completely done. But yeah, that's what I made this week. Here are the free painted cats. I really hope that I can get the textiles good so I can just keep working on this custom order. And here are the two custom mugs that I did, the doggy beach one. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I will see you again next week.